Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Ross. I've been working the indie scene for quite a while under the name of Chris Konich. Did a lot of shows for CZW, UCW, ACPW, and so forth and so on, and little smaller wrestling indies organizations. However, for the past 4 years, I've actually been going to school actually to be a writer, and I've loved the sports entertainment business so much that I've actually recently tried getting connected with the WWE, and I'll get more into that when the broadcast goes on. But however, I've been seeing podcasts, and everybody said I had a great voice to be a TV host or some sort of podcast guest or whatnot. So I decided to start my own show starting today. And I got some very interesting topics to talk about today. And a lot of big names. I'm just going to shoot out a few names before the show goes on. One of the biggest names I'm talking about today is Vince Russo. Now, I've recently talked to Eric Bischoff, and probably had to be day or two after filming with JBL because there were some things said in that, and I'll get into that later when the show goes on. But very quickly, guys, I work in depth with NoDQ.com. Um, I've also started watching the podcasts with Wrestling Inc. with Raj, Sean, and Vince, and a lot of interesting things I want to get into there as well. And I'll get into that later in the broadcast. But first, let me start the podcast off today. One of the biggest things is it's 10 days until WrestleMania. It's 10 days until WrestleMania. And the one thing I want to get into today is the WrestleMania build. Okay, this has seemed like been one of the least smaller WrestleMania builds. You could say the least. And one of the things, well, the main thing is what happens after WrestleMania, especially the day after, because that's one of your biggest shows, and you got to pull off some big things and predictions. Okay, so I'm going to get into that right now. And it seems like what people care about the most is the Hell in a Cell match, without a doubt. My prediction is The Undertaker goes over simply on the fact that Vince tried to, and this was simply filler, guys, amp the ante up by saying if you don't lose, you won't be in WrestleMania no more. However, if Shane wins, Shane could be like, hey, Undertaker, you're on WrestleMania. So that made no sense at all. Because Shane had control over Raw. That controls your whole show, you're saying, Vince. He clearly put The Undertaker back on WrestleMania. So that wouldn't make any sense at all. That's one. Two, The Undertaker's going to go over. He should have never lost to Brock in the first place, but it's WrestleMania. Undertaker's not going to lose. Shane's only here because of all the injuries. Let's get that out the way. And it sucks because I was starting to buy in what's going to happen here and what's going to happen here. And then, as a smart mark that I am, simply realized that this is just strictly filler and they did a hell of a job on booking it. But still, I want to see what's going to happen. Hopefully, there's a couple cool splashes. Yeah, I'm on the wrestling podcast that I'm going to do. I'm always going to do how would I book it, and I'm always going to do a crazy prediction as well. Okay, so how would I book this match? All right, if I was the booker in this match, Shane McMahon will go over. One, this match will go on last. Okay, two, Shane moves roll back to 2 hours. Cool, which is everybody wants to see. All right, he brings up Ronaldo or one of the great commentators for SmackDown. We just switch things up. All right. How he wins is you have a bunch of run-ins. You have a lot of run-ins in this match. Mainly what everybody wants to see, and this is a big dream match of the century: Sting versus The Undertaker. Have Sting do a run-in. Undertaker kicks out. Have John Cena do a run-in. He kicks out. Bring back the Mean Street Posse for a run-in. Have The Undertaker destroy them. And finally, there's so many run-ins until where Shane McMahon finally gets The Undertaker in some type of crazy finish, whether he jumps from the rope, throws The Undertaker off the cage, does something ridiculously and crazy that Shane is versus his own body for something. That's how you put Shane over in a match like that. Undertaker's still a phenom. Won't really look at this as a loss because this is a heck of a hell of a match. That's one. The second biggest match is the Roman Reigns Triple H, which I guess they did a great job of building this match up. Let me tell you there. But what I would do with this match here is insert The Rock in this match, okay? And how you insert The Rock in this match is you turn Roman Reigns heel because the crowd will pop if you do it the right way. Okay? What you do with this, The Rock comes out to save his cousin. Bang, rock bottom. Bang, people's elbow. After the people's elbow, Rock turns around into a Roman Reigns spear. Crowd will go nuts. Like, oh my God. Because they're going to be booing because just like happened in Philly, and I'm from South Philly, guys, a block away from the Italian market, just to let you guys know. What happened in Philly, I was there. I was sitting in row 3. And we knew what was going to happen. There was no way Kane or the Big Show was going to just win. Just was bad. But you have Roman Reigns spear The Rock. As in, I don't need your damn help. Triple H gets up, tries to hit him with a pedigree. He snaps out of it like the big Roman Reigns that he is. Bang! Hits him with a spear or hits him with a finisher. Boom! Roman Reigns wins the match without The Rock's help. Now, he is a Randy Orton style neutral because you don't know if he's a good guy anymore because he just speared The Rock. But he has that mentality as in, I don't need anybody's help. So now you got the massives back on Roman Reigns' bandwagon, whether you turn him heel or turn him face at this point. That's what you do at Roman Reigns. That will get the match over. Is it a poor job of utilizing The Rock? It's a good way of inserting him in the main event because, first of all, everybody's going to be like, Roman Reigns is going to win this. He's going to win the belt. It's so predictable. Triple H is here for a short-term period like they do with a couple of wrestlers from that Royal Rumble period to WrestleMania period. We know Roman Reigns is going to win the belt. However, you don't know how he's going to win the belt. All right, so that's a great way of using The Rock, getting the crowd into it, getting the crowd on their feet, having a crazy swerve in the middle of it. Tomorrow Night Raw, you don't know if Roman Reigns is going to be faced. You don't know if he's going to be healed. You're going to tune in and watch it because that's going to be great television TV. And that's just how I would do it. Far as pushes, I would do. WrestleMania is always a great time to start up new pushes. And we got the signings of Luke Gallows and Ken and Anderson. All right, so what I would do there is I would utilize Finn Balor losing on Friday night and bring up the Balor Club the night after Raw. But you have to do it the right way because not everybody's going to know the tag team of Gallows and them, but everybody knows Balor. Well, enough people know Balor from NXT. And if you're not going to introduce them with vignettes like they haven't been doing, so they're not going to do it now, which sucks because I love vignettes. However, if they're not going to do it, you got to do it now. And the best way to do it is bring up Finn Balor with it, and you have to do it the right way. Now, the question mark is, do you make these guys faces? Do you make these guys heels? Finn Balor is already a face. Everybody knows him. The crowd's going to cheer. If you turn these guys heel, you have to do it with the right person, and there's no better person to start it off with than Brock Lesnar, the Beast. And you're going to want to do it with Brock Lesnar, the Beast. And I'm going to tell you why. Finn Balor is a star down at NXT. Okay? You bring him up with Gallows and boys. You have him feud with Brock Lesnar from out of the chute. Now, Lesnar's kind of one of them neutral faces, heels faces. You don't know. He's an ass kicker. That's what he is. Put Balor and them against him. The crowd's going to be juggling. It's great TV. You don't know what these new guys are going to do. It's going to get over. That's what you do with that. And like I said, if I was booking, that's how I would create it. Thinking of booking, it brings me to a point that I wanted to get to. And the point that I wanted to get to was Vince Russo. Okay, it makes everybody's stomach turn for some reason. And Russo, you call yourself a man of the word. I was talking with Eric Bischoff, and I love the work you do, and I just love hearing you two on your shows too. I respect you as a man. I think you're very, very intelligent, and I wish WWE had you as a booker today because I like the things you do, and you have some very interesting points. However, as I was talking to Bischoff at the Q&A, I've asked him a few questions, and one maintaining to the Bash at the Beach was 2000, which we already heard the two stories, and we won't get into it for legal reasons. But however, Bischoff just was like Vince Russo's just a liar in everything he says. He's not a man of his word. I heard him call people out on the podcast saying, "Hey, if like Jay Lethal, for example, when I was talking to Jay Lethal at a show, yeah, Vince Russo never contacted me about coming to on his show or anything like that or anything like that. It's all BS." So I'm starting to believe the BS, but I like this guy, so it's kind of hard for me to believe it. But if there's so many people saying the same thing, you kind of get that drip that Vince Russo is kind of a bullshitter, which brings me to now. Vince Russo, I'm personally issuing you a challenge on your podcast that there's certain things I want to go in there and discuss with you from being a fan of the business, being an ex indie pro wrestler, and now in the writing business. There's just some questions that I would like to get off my chest. There's some things that may irritate me, and there's some things that I love as well. But I like to settle it like men and do it live. And do it live on the podcast. So, Vince Russo, if you're down for the challenge, there's one question in particular pertaining that I asked Bischoff, and Bischoff